All right, welcome back to Greenbox Gaming Plays Delta Green and Possible Landscapes. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joe. I am the handler for our little ragtag group of so-called agents. I mean, you know, they're just confused. But I am joined by my good friends. I'm joined by Dace playing Benji.
I don't appreciate being called a ragtag.
Well, you should do better to take care of yourself, and maybe I wouldn't call you that. All right, and Jean playing Benedict.
Hello. I do appreciate being called ragtag. That's a compliment in my culture.
That's okay. Ooh, that's a little bit of.
I made that up. Disclaimer. No, that's
no.
bullshit.
No, next time I meet another South African person, I'm gonna be like, "You're looking really ragtag today."
You're
man.
a ragtag fella.
A ragtag fella.
Do you have to wink when you say it like that?
I have a peer from South Africa. I was gonna say to him when I see him on Wednesday, "Hey man, looking really Oh, those shoes are really ragtag, man. Good job."
my, what a ragtag
I
fella.
did meet some South Affies in Cleveland.
No, that's their word.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we going with South Africa?
Again with this.
South Africans in Cleveland, and they might actually want to be called a ragtag because they were.
I thought you were gonna be like, now they were ragtag.
They were tearing up the entire bar.
Oh yeah, they just party in a different way.
They were what is the primary language called, John?
Afrikaans or Zulu?
I don't know.
They're 11.
Say again.
There are 11
languages.
I'm not sure what they were speaking, but I was like trying to figure out, like, it wasn't familiar to anything I've heard, and then like they were arguing, and then like some guy's like, "I want that strong beer there." And then, like, they just like started like cheering after that.
and that of course is our good friend Brad playing Hank. Here's a question: were they arguing, or were they just speaking in an argumentative sounding language? Because like German sounds really kind of harsh all the time.
No, I guess they weren't arguing. I think they're just like being rambunctious. They're just
Disgusting.
partying at the front of the bar where no one could order but them.
A surprisingly large population of migrant South African workers, like farm workers in the States.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like my cousin, also in the Delta of Mississippi, is dating one, and all of them that I've met are just like exactly like you described, just like, and they make me think of rugby players, just like brick shit houses that are just fucking rowdy and down to clown.
Just giant,
Exactly.
corn-fed. They're the
Exactly like me.
They're even
Exactly like me.
always, Sean.
For those who don't watch the stream, I am nothing like that. I'm scrawny and very much not looking like that.
But still down to clown.
But still down the clown. But get a few drinks in him, and oh boy,
I'll pick up your car.
Give that man a couple strong beers.
Strong beers.
as everybody cheers. Yeah, strong beer.
A strong beer. Well, how have you guys been doing? Are you guys getting ready to enjoy your Thanksgiving? And we're gonna date the episode. That's okay. We don't mind here. You guys are getting ready to enjoy your Thanksgiving feast.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone really enjoy Thanksgiving? I mean, like, the food is good and all, but like the pain you have to suffer to get to the food.
Are you talking about your family? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You could always just do like a very like an Irish goodbye thing. You're just like going, you're like, oh yeah, hey, you get a plate and just leave. And you could do that with anyone's family gathering, not just yours.
Oh, pro tip. Another pro tip: don't use the paper plate that they provide you at the beginning of the line. Bring your own Tupperware take that through the line. You don't even have to
Wow.
sit down.
Yeah.
You can just go through
You're
the
really
line of
thinking
bounds.
now. You're really thinking.
What? I mean, I guess it really is about the family, because anyone can throw together a bunch of food, and have a turkey, right?
Oh.
If turkey's your thing,
That's called a Friendsgiving.
That's the thing they don't tell you. You can have turkey whenever the hell you please. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
must be fucking nice. Must be fucking nice. Because we don't get that privilege. Thank
John.
you very much. No turkeys in South Africa.
not a big turkey import market.
No.
Do y'all have
legit, It's annoying.
a
Really?
We really like it. Yeah, no turkey.
really?
Well, I mean, it is
Business idea. All right, let's become importer exporters. We got property. We can start a fucking turkey farm.
Why don't we just buy
problem
some
is
property
nobody
there
wants to buy it.
and have a turkey?
Nobody
farm
wants to
there?
buy it.
Oh, there's a problem.
Guys, we're
Yeah.
jumping ahead. The market doesn't exist.
The market
That's
doesn't
why.
exist. Currently we have an N of one. We have we have a sample of one that says they do want it.
You
And
like
that-
turkey that much, John?
Sheep's heads? I like it, yeah.
Excuse
Jessica
me?
likes it.
Sheep head?
Do you say sheep head?
Oh, sheep heads. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just cooked up sheep heads.
Well, I guess that's really no
Bit of a
different
staple.
than southern head cheese, which is
Mm.
a similar kind of thing with a hog's head.
You ever had head cheese?
I don't think that's actually from the head, is it? It's like this is called that, but it's like something else.
Is it just brain?
I think
It looks like head cheese.
I was under the
That's what I
impression
call a brain.
this is where we might start losing people for this sounding gross. But I was under the impression that you took a hog's head and boiled it, and then all the meat that kind of came off it, that you then took it and kind of pickled it.
It's hard to think of a less appetizing word than head cheese.
Right.
Hmm.
And then when you pickle
We
it,
could-
it becomes cheese-like in consistency, which is why it's called that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm certain
Absolutely
this is brain.
disgusting.
You're right.
You guys,
It's
you guys
made-
are just eating brains. This is gross.
It's
You're gonna
made from
cry
the
on
flesh of the
diseases.
head. You're right, Jay.
Yeah. Well, it's
Eaten cold. It's called a meat jelly.
No. No.
Oh, that's worse. I would stick with head cheese over meat jelly.
I don't know which is worse.
Cold cut terrine
Listeners-
or meat jelly originated
Okay,
from
Get
Europe.
on, get on Reddit and vote. Would you rather have head cheese or meat jelly?
Oh god. It's a hard choice. It's like someone's like holding a gun to you, and they're just like you're sitting and they're in front of a table with two plates, each one with a tiny label on it, one that says head cheese and the one that says meat jelly, and they're like, choose.
So it just sounds like
So
a
South
more
Africa.
disgusting hot dog because it's like parts of the head used to vary, may include tongue, sometimes feet or heart,
Yeah,
but
it's just like
do not
it's like
commonly
bologna.
include the brain, eyes, or ears.
Well, that's good.
Not commonly.
Because that would be
the
a
sheep
bridge
head-
too far.
Right.
Of course. Sheephead, they include brain, I think, and
Uh-huh.
eyeballs. And they call it a smiley.
Oh no.
Like, you guys are supposed to be good at marketing. This is a smiley.
That's let me
And
tell
I think
you.
it's because of the sickening face on the dead creature.
Yeah. So it's served whole.
Can we move on? Is there a segue in here at all? Please?
All right. Speaking of being served whole, our characters have recently
Thank God.
are in a bit of a pickle, where unbeknownst
it.
to them, something lurks just beyond the next stack of bookcases that is more than happy to devour them entirely. Our team, Imcel, having descended and now completely accepted the fact that they are patients at the Dorchester facility and they've never been Delta Green agents. It's like
Have we, though?
our characters who have completely accepted that and are
Okay.
now, beyond wrestling with that particular delusion, are here. Last time, after coming in contact with Asa Darabandi, meeting Leland and Mr. Wild, the crew had gone to a group therapy session with Dr. Maximo F. Friend. He went around and just, it was just a good opportunity to get some community healing, to really support each other. And I feel like there was a lot of really great opportunities to do that alongside of the shared hallucinations that Dr. Friend was sitting on top of a throne, lording over them as some type of, some type of king or deity, alongside an even larger empty throne. Perhaps a throne meant for the true king, the last king, even. The crew then moved away from, once they got done with the group therapy, and speaking with Deborah Carver. Which is interesting, because Deborah seems to be under the impression that she is from Carcosa, and the team has actually seen her name, her driver's license, her purse that they found earlier when they were in the Samahina house. You found out some interesting things about Deborah, primarily that she is some type of addict, possibly a drug dealer here in the Dorchester. She, I think it was a joke. I didn't ask you about this, and I think it was Jean or Benedict who said, "Oh, did you do those bugs? You have any bugs lately?"
Yeah.
And she was like, well, yeah. And it was just this fun moment of like, oh shit, like that was kind of a throwaway thing. And yeah, she tells you that she does do bugs, and also something called Melonia? ?
Mm-hmm.
Says that she finds it here, and tells you that she can actually get you some. But then she also mentioned King Bile. And I will from now on dispense with perfect pronunciation, because my American English palate is really not suited toward it. So I'm just going to start pronouncing it as Bale, because that is easier for me and hurts my brain less.
Aw, no.
Bile.
No, you have to try. You have to.
I don't know. Can you
It'll be
hear the
fine.
difference between Bile and Bale? Like, there's a difference.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
We
say
could
it.
also just revert
Yes.
to like Mr. Wild's kitty friend.
Well, that's a theory. Yes. But it seems that there's someone called King or King Bile, and you guys ask, well, where is King Bile? This king of demons. Keep in mind that in the Ars Goetia, the repository of the demons, there are 77 demons, and and that Baal rules over 66 legions of them, which is interesting because there are actually, and this is something that Benji would know, there are 6 kings or 6 high demons that seem to rule over the rest. King Baal is one of them. He's by many considered to be the tippy top of that particular pyramid. You guys ask Deborah, where do we go? And you guys were in this little library nook, lots of picture books, that kind of thing. And Deborah tells you, well, he's on the other side of the library, silly. And you guys are like, great. And so then you guys, Alice in Wonderland, straight through a bookcase, digging through the piles of books until you came out into an impossibly large space with bookshelves and piles of papers and tomes going up 50, 100 meters into the air. These insanely high ceilings and walls that are so far away that they fade into mist. You find yourself in this place, standing, having come out of this book burrow, and surrounded on all sides by piles of books where the shelves are not stacked up. And there appears to be a small but dwindling fire at your feet, which looks to have been constructed with reading chairs, desks, and, of course, books. But you guys are under the impression that this King Baal might be your way out. Mr. Wilde said as much, suggested as much. So that's where we are. And the last thing I think you guys had seen right before we quit last time was you had seen one of these mannequins, being zipped around on these rails high in the ceiling, bounding by, doing God knows what. But yeah, that is where we are. Gentlemen, Hank, Benedict, Benji, What are you doing?
That is a
Pick up
fantastic
a piece
question.
of paper.
Creepy.
What's on a piece of paper?
A piece
Benedict
of paper?
bends down. Just goes for a piece of paper
Well,
to try and see what all these books are made of, if
Well-
it's homogeneous.
well,
or what.
let me tell you, paper is in no short supply. Exactly
Mhm.
where you happen to be at this moment. Yeah, you reach down and pick up the first kind of, I don't know, kind of discarded book. You know, that's there. And again, it's like all, you guys had come out of this, what can only be called an embankment of books, and pushed your way out of it. You pick up one of the first ones there by your feet, and you open it, and it is entirely in a different language that you were unfamiliar with. Well, I'd say you're unfamiliar. You're familiar enough at this point, I think, with your friendly neighborhood expert in all things odd, Benjamin Potts, with you. At this point in time, you probably know Tartesian when you see it. You can't read it, but you know it when you see it.
Right.
What you got there, Benedict?
Oh, I think it's some scrap paper. Gibberish. Gibberish. Does this mean anything?
Let me take a gander at it.
This particular book that you picked up is not noteworthy to the story. I'm afraid I'm not
It's
going to.
garbage. Throws it into the fire.
Which,
Bits
there
on
is
it.
a
which seems to be exactly what this small sputtering fire kind of needs, and it.
It's a gosh dang red herring. Gosh dang it.
Yes. The Crimson Smallfish is the title of the book. It's-
Love it.
Let's
So,
throw
yeah,
all
you-
the
and
books
you guys
into the
are
fire. Let's just start burning everything.
You're gonna need a shovel. That's how bad it is in here. Yeah, I mean, and again, you guys are in this kind of alcove almost, where like these bookshelves kind of come together, and it looks like, you know, as you guys look around and you're kind of adjusting to your surroundings, it looks like someone might have slept here. Like you find like there's a place where it looks like a rug, like two, and again, like it has all the trappings of a library. You know, tables, chairs, you know, some rugs and stuff. It looks like someone might have used a rug to make a kind of bed. You know, like they're put together. It looks like, you know, there's like a stack of two books. It looks like someone might have put their head on, kind of thing. That someone made this fire, you know, and probably stayed here for a little bit.
And there's nobody else in the
Do
room.
we?
Not that you can see from where you
Can
are.
Are there any other exits?
Again, like the shelves that you can see over in the distance, like you're not positive you can see walls.
Okay.
Joe, can I roll a forensics to like kind of get more insight to, you know, if anything malicious went down here, or just like where this person went to in which direction or something like that?
It's a good use of forensics, I'd say. Yeah, let's see
Okay.
what you get.
Nice.
Let's see if you actually get something useful, or if you just get an opportunity to
Critical
add
11.
Nice.
All right.
yes!
There we are, coming out of the gate.
Goes into
swinging.
full Sherlock Holmes mode. Everything goes slow-mo and things get blurry.
And
See
he just,
every
like,
possible
sees that
outcome of every situation that could have happened here simultaneously.
Yes.
Like, you know, Hank, like, you know, you guys kind of fade away, and Hank is staying there, and everything kind of goes in that, like, grayscale, and you see a figure moving amongst the books, building a fire, laying down, and stuff like that. Okay, alright, fair. There is something that you see, as you're looking around, as you're kind of picking through this area, and again, someone has been here. Hank, you get down into the fire, and, you know, they threw the book on it, and it's starting to kind of burn. You know, it's a pretty good-sized book. And when you think about it, end of the day, a stack of papers is basically a tree again. So it's like, you know, a good, dense book will burn for a bit. But you start picking through, and you find little tiny bones in the fire. They look like to be the bones of probably rats. You know, maybe you find a tiny little rodent skull with like its, you know, enlarged teeth. It looks like somebody probably had killed rats here. And okay, and the last time I told you guys this, everybody thought it was some type of joke or something at first. But Hank, you smell something that reminds you of a different time. as you're kind of looking around the periphery, there's a small area where you indeed, off to the side, on the opposite side of the fire from this little makeshift bed, where there looks to be a kind of, just like a space in the books where, you flip a book over and, because maybe you smell something. You smell something over there, you flip over, and there is another rat. This rat looks like it has not been cooked and eaten, but looks like it has been chewed apart, probably by, you'd assume, a creature. And you smell a musky, not stinky, but not stinky smell, something similar to a dog. And then you smell like, is that urine? It's like you're, and it really reminds you of 20 years ago in the McAllister, but they remind you of Ham.
He's like, I know that piss.
I know that piss anywhere.
Well, fellas, looks like someone's been here for long enough to be hungry enough to eat some rats. Cook them over the fire. And get a load of this.
Likes rats?
Get a load of this piss.
Go ahead, Hank.
I want y'all to bend down here and take a big whiff of this area
That's
of books.
disgusting.
Tell me what you think about this.
Not impressed.
Notes
Hank,
of
are these-
ammonia, asparagus. There's only one piss sit like that.
Well, and as
Hank,
and as
are those-
go ahead. Sorry, Bendit. Go ahead.
Hank, are those like human bite marks or something else?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this
With your critical
you did
success.
No, like
On
you
the
look at
rat.
I would say with
Yeah.
your critical, you can investigate the bones of both the bones in the fire and the bones of the other rat that you find. One of them is human. The other one appears to be some type of creature, probably canine. You're not an expert, but that's what you're thinking. It's also worth noting that there are places like where the books, it looks like some of the books seem to be waterlogged and ruined. And it's not an uncommon, like parts of the library, as you even like look out of your alcove, look to be fairly well kept, like you'd expect a library, but there is definitely a feeling of ruin creeping in kind of at the edges, you'd think. And even now, Hank, as you investigate this kind of opening to what you'd assume to be the only real way forward out of this little alcove, it looks like someone has, there are some, at first it just looks like there are some chairs and desk here. But what it looks like now, and you look on the floor with your critical, you see on the floor it looks like they've been moved over the wooden floor. It looks like these were probably formed into a barricade that someone had put up, and they pushed it out, looks like when they left. But looks like someone had barricaded themselves inside this little area where they built this fire.
Also, it looks like they were trying to protect themselves from something or someone. It might be a good idea, fellas, to... does anyone see any kind of a bat or something, weapon of sort we can...
Weapons!
We might need to be on our toes about whatever happens going forward.
Yeah.
Roger that. Maybe we could like break apart one of those chairs and have makeshift.
I don't...
This is some
Yeah.
solid walnut right here. It's a good dense wood. Now, here's one for you, Hank, and here's one for you, Benedict.
This is Bodoc. This is
Bodoc. Don't get harder than Bodoc.
don't get harder than Bodoc. All right.
Desert ironwood.
Is there anything else around? I'd love that, but is there any? So we can make, I guess, 4 stakes out of that chair. But is there anything else that we can see around here?
Looking out again, like it looks like it just goes out into. I don't mean to alarm.
I don't want to
you
look too
or to
far.
prompt you.
I don't want to look too far
Seemingly
out. Definitely.
unending stacks of books.
No, he just keeps looking at the ground. Benedict
No,
does.
not today. Okay, I'm gonna say that you guys.
Hank
if
says-
you guys want to.
Hank says we
fashion
need guns.
some,
Lots of guns. And then do like rows of
not
guns
gonna
come out
And
of...
then it goes.
So you guys can all fashion some weapons for yourself, and you can even. I will say that you guys have plenty of time. There's nothing encroaching. There's no reason to worry about time traveling here. It's not like something will get worse the longer you're here. I would not worry about that. So you guys can probably go ahead and add to your sheets. I know you've got all your old inventory on there. Just ignore that. You know, it's not on. You don't have to delete it, but ignore it. But we'll say that you guys all have a club. You know, if you want to add that to, add makeshift club. And we'll say that, you know, you guys have plenty of time to get a good length one that's just about right. We'll just give you the regular club stats on that, which is does a 1d6 of damage.
Cool.
Just before we leave this room, there's one other thing I want to do, and it's probably a complete waste of time. But I noticed at the end of Biles' intro, or his little blurb on Demon Web 101, it says, "This is his character which is used to be warned as a layman before him, who calleth him forth, or else he will not do the homage." So maybe I can get some ash from the fire and draw Biles' symbol on my forehead.
So you look
Not
exactly
just straight
like the
on your
crazy
fucking
guy
forehead.
on the handler's guide.
And I'll be like,
Oh, great Bio, I call forth the demonic visage, so that you may come payeth me homage.
Okay. All right, okay, tell me this. Because keep in mind, this is one of those times where, you know, to do something as a character and do something as a player are different. Because Benji knows different things than Dace, right?
no.
Roger, not at all. They're the same person. If you want to, you're a cult. Isn't your cult 90?
Yeah.
Okay. You
Yeesh.
know the ritual. Within a cult of 90, you know the ritual that is used to interact, supposedly, you know, according to the Ars Goetia, with the preliminary invocation of Prima Numiton, which is a part of, even on Demon Web 101, on that first page where all the names are, you know about the ritual, you know, that is used to, again, interact with these demons. You also know that these with your occultic knowledge, you know that symbols do bear power. Or supposed power. The idea of bearing the symbol of a lofty demon, it might yield something if you come into contact with someone who knows what it is, perhaps.
Okay. Well, I'll just I'll leave the ash symbol on my forehead,
As one does.
and
Guys, just keep an eye out if you can for there's a couple of ingredients we need in this ritual. 2 sprigs of mothwort, a virgin, and blood from a cat's face. So just keep your eyes peeled as we make our way through this nightmarish landscape.
Hank makes a side-eye at Benedict.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Onward and upward.
He just
Well, why
he
don't
puts
you
his
let me?
club on
like
his shoulder and just
Shakespeare.
starts whistling as he walks off.
Why don't you let me hold on
Okay,
to that
what-
club there for a couple of minutes?
If you touch my club, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Does anybody feel? I don't feel very safe. I know I keep being that guy, but I don't feel very safe here. Even with my club. Anybody? You guys just want to charge ahead with summoning the demon that's supposed to get us out with our little clubs?
I mean, what else we got?
Wait, what'd you say? Say that. Sorry, I'm reading Demon Web. Say that one more time, Benedict.
I'm just very afraid. We just came out of a pile of books from an insane asylum that we don't remember being checked into, or we kind of do. I know we should probably need some weapons with all the crazy shit we've seen, and I'm just glad we don't see any clockwork horrors right now. But
Ooh, right now.
and I don't want to eat any rats. If I'm being honest, I'm happy not eating rats.
I don't think we got much option. Not talking about the rat eating. It's totally up to you whether you eat the rats or not. But as far as I think the only way out's through, you know?
The only way out is through. But
I just wish I had my flashbangs to go through with.
yeah.
And I miss my ADs.
Can you think
I
really
get it.
hard? Can you think really hard about a flashbang, Joe? Does that do anything?
We need
in this place?
flashbangs. Lots of flashbangs.
Like
Flashbangs, lots of
feeling at
flashbangs.
his side, or like, and using some real willpower to be like, oh, I wish I had a flashbang. Wish I had a flashbang. Wish I had
All
a
right.
flashbang. Yes, I do.
So-
and then a
let's,
flashbang pops up onto his
so
belt.
Benedict starts singing his flashbang song.
Yes.
With no effect.
You,
what would everyone else like
Damn
to do?
it.
Benedict, you do bring
Damn
up
it.
a very. I have to agree with Benji. I do want to. As weird as it might sound, I do not want to go back to that insane asylum if I don't have to. At least here we're in control of what we do, and you know. But where we go, and but we do need. You did say clockwork, which does bring back some bad memories. Can we agree if we do see something like that, we don't even need to attempt to fight it in the state we're in now?
Suicide pact. Right on, brother.
No.
Uh,
I think this is the other pact.
No,
It's
the
running
opposite.
away
We need
pact.
to-
We're going the other way.
yeah, we need to agree to run in the opposite direction of the something like that.
Yeah.
My mistake.
I'm-
I'm equally on
that's
board
good.
with that.
Yes.
And what do we do? What do we do about the flying mannequins that we seem to keep seeing? Are they
Well, I
friends?
don't-
Do we even want to bring this up?
I didn't
Is this
see
an
that at
elephant in
all.
The room situation.
I didn't see that at all, and I do not want to think about anything that I didn't see.
Denial is a very powerful coping tool. Just nope, not today.
That's Hank's superpower.
Oh,
Denial.
Yeah.
I just think of my sons back at home that I have waiting for me. I got something to go back to, Benedict.
That memory is getting steadily more foggy.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Getting harder and harder to recall that.
All right, so we're gonna do this ash summoning.
Oh, I thought we were gonna
Benji.
follow the trail.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I think Joe was telling me that my ritual didn't work,
I would.
but something might happen.
Got it.
If you,
Just like my
I'm-
flashbang ritual.
I'm gonna say
didn't
that
work.
Benji has the knowledge he believes to perform a ritual according to the Ars Goetia, to supposedly summon a demon. If you want to engage in that, you can. I'm saying that doing a symbol on your forehead isn't a particular part of that.
Well, Benji, what do you need? And could we do this ritual anytime? Does it have to be right here? You know, what do you need?
It's let's follow this little trail of breadcrumbs before I start invoking the names of the King of Demons. On second thought, we'll keep it in our pockets as a last resort. How about that?
Okay. So when we see a clockwork horror, let's just summon up a
Let's
demon.
summon a
at the
demon,
same
let's see what
time.
happens.
Fix it all up. Cool.
Alright. So you guys are gonna head out.
Yes. For the first
Very
time
carefully.
in the history of the podcast, we're leaving the room.
We're exiting this
We're
room.
gonna leave the room. You guys squeeze through, and again, there looks like there was a barricade, and it's been pushed apart enough. You guys kind of squeeze through it, and kind of, and what you find is that you're moving out into this library, and there are not chandeliers, there are not lights, but there seems to be this kind of ambient light just kind of bathed over things, and as you guys have been here, it seems like it's gotten lighter. It's like it feels like it's getting more daytime ? As you guys move out from this place, and it becomes very, very clear. Does come a point where you have to take a turn around a bookcase, or something like that, or around like a big multi-sided study desk or something. There is a part where you
Is there a way for us?
go ahead.
Sorry, Joe. Can we keep track of where we're going in any way, in any reliable way,
I would say
or to get back to where we were?
I would say that at any time you can open any one of countless desks that you encounter and can find a pencil, or a pen, and there's plenty of paper, you can attempt to map your way out, to try to find your way back.
I'm gonna try and do that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's problematic. Go ahead and make me a... on a sanity check. Maybe a sanity check. Don't worry, you're not going to lose sanity.
I've already got a minus, a 1 sanity
It's kinda
damage hanging out on my
Don't
sheet.
worry about that.
Success, 5 under 52.
Nice.
All right, as you guys are moving along, and Benedict is making this map. You said you succeeded?
Yep.
It becomes very, very quickly that this map, you have already begun to double back on yourself and should be seeing things that you've seen before, but you're not. It becomes very, very apparent very, very quickly to everyone who looks at this map, especially Benedict, who's making it. This map makes no sense.
Okay. We might just continue forward and let's just go get lost.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Would someone roll me a D100, please?
I can do it.
73.
That is a 73.
73. Okay. Cool. As you guys are moving, you've all got your clubs. And again, it seems to be, they'll say you guys have been traveling about an hour. Okay? And it's hard to say whether or not you're making progress or not. I mean, I imagine there is definitely a sense of kind of low, anxious panic that's just kind of present in everyone as you're just kind of making your way. And every now and then, you see different things. Like you see, you might see another place where it looks like someone has, hung out for a little while. You might see books stacked in a way, or even books laid out on these desks like someone was reading them. There every now and then you see evidence that maybe someone has been here. There was a moment in 1995 in the night floors in which you guys saw some people with guns chasing some other people, and they turned out to be mannequins, and you found them quote unquote dead on the floor. And I believe it was Benji who had witnessed or had heard this kind of zzz, this kind of sound as these marionette strings were were pulled back up into the rails in the ceiling. You guys are making your way, and we'll say that Benji, you're peering through the stacks, through the bookshelves onto the other side at some point, and you hear and you see something move, and you hear this zzz. What do you do?
Okay. As far as everybody feeling a sense of low anxiety, I don't think Benji does. I think he's actually kind of excited to be back in the night floors.
Maybe, yeah.
Almost feels at ease. He's getting closer to Carcosa.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, he hears that noise and he frantically scoops the books off the shelf to see if he can see anything behind it.
Okay. The other two of you see Benji do this. What is your reaction?
Sorry, I gotta step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I know this is an intense spot.
Just while that happens, don't know if we can check out the music, Joe.
Oh, the
Quick tech
the
check.
music died. Okay, yes, I will. I'll get that back going.
And I'm fueled by music
Yes, of course.
and cake.
And cake? That's
What flavor of cake this eve?
Carrots.
no.
Carrot cake.
Ah, music's back, but no carrots.
Um,
Very much.
yeah, that's a weird one. I don't know what that says about you or what it doesn't say about you. We'll just.
Oh, you don't have to think about it too much.
Okay.
In fact, Joe, you should roll a sanity thinking about my
Uh-oh.
carrot cake. Trying to overthink
Uh-oh.
my carrot cake.
What is Joe's sanity?
My individual, real human sanity.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll continue on without Brad for the time being.
Okay. Well, for Benedict, he will probably just let Benji do Benji. Benji does Benji sometimes, and sometimes he almost traps us in a tunnel, sometimes he unlocks the key to the entire thing. So, hoping for the latter.
So you see on the other side of this, you see it becomes very apparent very quick that while this is not one of the mannequins, because when you first came into the library area, there was a mannequin that was it was not clothed, it was like a nude, kind of just the wooden figure shape, of the mannequin bounding through doing God knows what. This time you see one that is wearing that bellhop kind of uniform,
right?
Something that is now very familiar, having seen it more than once, but especially having seen the uniform itself being stitched together in the Samahina home.
Right.
Oh.
You see it appears to be gathering books. You see in one hand it holds what appears to be a piece of paper, and it regards it with this face with no eyes and no markings. But it regards this, it kind of pantomimes, and you see that even the paper has no writing on it. But it appears to be almost shopping for books. And as it looks through, and it seems to turn towards you, Benji, and there's probably a moment there of, uh-oh. It sees me and it reaches toward you, but then just pulls one of these books off the shelves and puts it on this small cart. And then you all hear the sound of this cart squeaking down the stacks and through the shelves as this mannequin wheels this library cart that is piled high with all sorts of books. But even you see it's pushing the cart, and as you're watching it, you see these lines going up into the ceiling, no doubt to these rails high above. And the mannequin is not even touching the ground, because it is very much like a marionette. It's just kind of being bounced along behind the cart, but somehow also exerting force on it. And it begins to move away from you. What do you do?
I want to try to interact with one of these mannequins. We see them everywhere, but we've never actually interacted with one. So if I can I fit in between the shelves, like where the books are?
You would have to go down to the end of the row to get.
Yeah, but if I do that, it's going to disappear.
That's metagaming.
That's metagaming if I've ever seen it. I would say no. I mean, the average bookshelf, you're not going to be able to squeeze through. It's certainly not in a timely manner.
Fine.
Can you throw something? At it, Benji?
Yeah, sure. Benji throws a book at it.
Okay, what is your intent here?
To get its attention?
To get its attention, not to harm it.
Right.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. That is my final answer.
I don't like that question at all.
Okay.
That's not cool.
How does Hank react to Benji's having pulled all of these books off and is apparently it's like a bloodhound. It's like, you got something, boy? You got something? Like what is Hank's reaction?
To the man with a symbol on his forehead crawling through the bookshelves to get.
And the thing is as the cart starts to make its way, as this mannequin begins to push the cart, I mean, you hear the cart too, and maybe even now you guys kind of crouch down and see through, and you also see the back of this bellhop, costume mannequin. What is Hank's reaction?
And she's like,
I knew I smelled crazy. Look.
Benji, maybe. I mean, I don't think Hank's gonna stop him at all. He's a little alarmed. We only see this one bellhop.
Right.
Just the one.
Here's the plan. One of y'all stick around here and look at him through the bookcase while I go around to the end of the aisle.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Split up.
No, splitting
Let's
up.
split up.
That way he can't disappear. Think about it.
Maybe try shouting out to him. Say something.
Yo,
And throw a book.
hey, little bellhop boy.
It throws a book at him.
Hey, Pinocchio.
I got a tip for
Fucking
you.
Pinocchio. The bellhop stops suddenly as the book makes contact with the back of its torso. It turns around, and it kind of, and again, like, it makes this wooden kind of knocking sound as it moves, like this like sound of like kind of like wooden wind chimes, just dook 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 every time it kind of moves one of its bodies. And again, it's just kind of bouncing, it's not really walking. And it looks down and cocks its head quizzically, you know, like too much, like more than one would do so, you know, when they looked at something. But it's like, it's very theatrical. And it makes a little shrugging sign, and it bends down and picks up the book and walks back over to where you are and puts the book back on the shelf, not regarding you, and then turns back.
Is it within reach?
Yes.
Kind of looks at Benji. Should we
You
get
have
him?
one moment.
Should we grab
You have
him?
one moment.
Benji's gonna reach out and try to snag his arm, pull him closer.
Oh my god.
All right. You're doing that. All right, okay, roll me some type of dex. Like a dex check, I think.
Can I help him? I'll
Sure
help
you
him.
can. You can roll either a dex or a strength. How about that?
I will do
Alright.
Dex for sure.
I'll roll a strength.
Success on the Dex, 14 under 70.
Failure on the strength.
All right.
This could be a terrible
It
idea.
could be a terrible idea. You were right. So you attempt to reach out and help grab Benedict to no avail. You're able to. There's really not enough room for the two of you to both get in there. That being said, Benji, you reach out and are able to make contact with this creature. What did you roll, actually?
So 14 under 70. Dex.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let me see. So, it's going to make a roll to attempt to dodge you.
Does it even
Jeez.
know
Okay.
what's happening?
Oh, you're right. We'll give it a negative. We'll give it a negative 20. That being said, it still does roll, but okay. But the way it works. So you both rolled a success, but because Benji rolled technically a higher number, Benji rolled a 14, and this creature rolled a 12. Technically, Benji wins.
Ooh.
Benji, you reach out. This thing, you lay hands on it and pull it back. It is now has a arm being pulled through these two rows of bookshelves, right, on the other side. And it is tried to dodge out
Does
of the
it
way.
scream?
Of course it does not
Is there
scream.
screaming?
It's a mannequin. Benedict. What a silly question.
It's a valid question. Thank you very much. I stand by it.
Maybe there's not a scream, but maybe there is a kind of mechanical grinding that emits from it as it exerts itself to pull back and away from Benji.
God, Benji's like the dog that caught the tire.
And now
Now
you
you
know
got
idea.
it. Yeah.
Hank,
What are you
okay,
gonna do with
okay, so
it?
that's what these two did, and the mannequin has done something. What is Hank doing?
Alertness check.
Alertness check?
Yeah.
Okay, give me that alertness. Let's see what you do.
Success. 68 under 70, just barely.
Okay. Hank, of all things that you notice in this situation, you would swear that you hear the sound of snoring coming from the other side of the bookshelves, kind of towards where the mannequin is, probably beyond the mannequin.
Fellas, there's someone else here.
With a mouth.
With a mouth. Presumably.
Presumably
At least the
the mouth
nose.
alone. What? Okay. So, at this point, we're basically in combat. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that what it sounds like to you guys?
No, not really, honestly.
Is the mannequin female?
That's a great question.
It appears to be a genderless mannequin.
I mean, we're not in combat unless
okay.
that mannequin swats at one of them, I suppose.
Well, that is a good point. So, I need to know right now. What is going to be... Are you going to let this thing go? Or now that you have it, are you going to attempt to... What? I need to know. That's going to determine what happens next.
Benji, let's pull it through. We've got him. Let's get him.
Let's get him!
We'll interrogate him. We get him.
Get him!
Oh, fuck it. Let's
All
stir the
right,
pot.
we're doing it. All right.
You know what? What's interesting?
Gonna make weapons out of his limbs.
This is also kind of metagaming, but that picture of Bael at the bottom of Damien Web has like all those like almost. It's not talked about it in the text, but it has like spider legs underneath
shit.
it, as if it could
Yeah,
I don't like
has
that.
multiple arms that it could control, possibly mannequins or something of the sort.
Oh no.
All right, so I will go ahead and tell you that, the way that combat rounds work is that we're going to start, of course, with Hank. Hank being the fastest of all of us.
This is not combat.
No,
There's
we're
no
in
combat
combat
music. This is definitely
I don't
not
have time to
combat.
turn on.
There's
I
no
don't have the
music.
time
I don't
to
hear the
turn
music.
on the music.
Damn
I'm
it.
sorry. It's-
Fine. we'll iron it out in
All right,
post.
I guess Hank just like following these two. They really maybe this mannequin did something to them. Maybe the mannequin's attacking them. He doesn't know because he was preoccupied with a snore behind.
Yeah. Are you going to attempt to pull it through or to attack its arm or something?
Hank will try to attack it if that's what he thinks. He doesn't know what's going on with these two.
Make that melee. I assume you're using your club.
Right.
All right, make that melee weapons roll. Tell me what you get.
All right. Let's 2.
I need your melee weapons roll, not your damage roll. Now you just rolled a d6.
You're right. How does this work again?
Go down to melee weapons in your skill sheet.
Oh, sorry. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Failure.
All right, failure. Not a failure enough to be a problem. But you swing, and between you trying to miss Benji and Benedict's heads, you're unable to get it in there. Go ahead, and next I believe would be Benji. Benji, go ahead. What are you gonna do?
Attempt to pull him through.
Go ahead and make me that strength check.
My forte
Your forte.
as a scholar.
It's an incredibly strong scholar.
Failure. 94 over 50. A hard failure.
Terrible failure.
All right. Yeah. So this thing pulls back and forth. You're not able to. Benedict, what are you gonna do?
Is it my turn over
It
it?
is,
That's
yes.
surprising. I will also try and pull it through.
Go and give me your strength roll.
That is a success.
All right.
52 under 70.
So this is going to become a bit of an opposed kind of thing, as this thing is going to attempt to. So Benedict has its hands on it, and and maybe between the two of you, Benedict definitely has the greater hold on it. And what's going to happen next is going to be. I figure it's the kind of things that might give one a PTSD flashback. Because in a very familiar manner, a spike emits from the mannequin's arm.
What the shit?
Oh, no.
At
Oh.
Benedict. So,
Oh, God.
let's go ahead and
Dodge.
address
Get a dodge it.
address that. Nope, you already did your movement for this time. Your action.
But isn't it a reaction?
If you haven't acted already.
That's brutal.
Let's go ahead and try that old that spike and impale attack. Let's roll that
Oh
D100.
my god.
Oh, God.
Let's see what we get here.
History repeats itself.
Well, that's an 88, which is a critical failure on the part of this marionette. I do not know if I know how to handle.
It should stab itself in the head.
I don't know if I know what to do with a critical fail.
Benji's just like,
Let him go, let him go, let him go.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, this is bad. This
What's
is
he
bad.
attacking him with?
Guys. This out of this kind of mechanical, out of the arm, maybe one of the, and as you guys are holding onto this arm, it seems to be a mixture of wood and steel. You know, and like it is a very complicated structure. It appears very simple on the outside, but there are fine-made seams in it, and in a very like cyberpunk kind of way, one of them kind of shifts to the side as this pneumatic spike drives out.
Well,
so you're telling me they're Carcosian clockworks?
basically.
That kind of makes me
Damn it,
feel
Benji. How did you not see this?
I'm not saying this is what would go down, Joe, but with a critical fail, would it be possible that maybe it slices some of the strings and has a negative 20
Ooh.
on its attacks going forward?
Let's see.
I think it enters the wrong command and it accidentally detaches its arm rather than send a spike out. I think that's a crit fail.
Just drop. Yeah, it drops the weapon, right? That's what usually happens
drop
when you crit
weapon.
on a.
Well, usually if you were to do this,
Or,
like, it
like,
would,
you drop
it
the
would, like,
magazine.
jam your weapon or stuff like that. We're gonna say the
It jams the
blade
weapon.
goes out, and as it does, Benedict, maybe you have just enough wherewithal. You reach down to kind of the base of this spike, and you just pull something away, and now you have. And as hydraulic fluid sprays out, you look in your hand, and you have some type of tube. And the blade or the spike kind of just jankily jerks to the side and looks quite ineffectual from here on out. So, back up to the top with Hank. Hank Ellis.
He's he's in war mode. He's like, this thing's trying to kill us, and he starts trying to beat it with a bat again. Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to say this. It is on the other side of a bookcase. We're going to say that you guys are going to take a negative 20. Unless you're able to pull
fair.
it through. But that was a fail anyway. Benji, you going to try to pull it again?
No.
I thought these things are harmless.
Yeah, what I am going to try to do, I'm going to try to get the spike. I'm going to try to steal the spike.
Okay, I will also say this.
Rip it off.
I will say this because, again, we're thinking about Benji knowledge versus... John.
Where'd John go?
He lost John.
The marionette got him.
Marionette got him, as it always does.
R.I.P. John.
Rip John. Straight to the face, just like Benedict. So you are able to... there he is. So you, as Benji, you have a knowledge of Carcosian clockworks. You could
Sure do.
roll a Carcosian clockwork skill
That would be my pleasure.
to see if you can do something, let's say, interesting.
Okay.
Guys, sorry, I dropped off internet. What happened after I grabbed the tube? Did I get the weapon with it?
Nothing. No, it's just ineffectual at this point. You have disabled it for the time being.
But I'm
Okay,
about to roll a Carcosian clockwork to try to get the weapon. Or something.
Yes.
Success! 436.
Okay, let's see. All right. You, Benji, as Benedict is kind of wrestling with this thing, and Benedict has a better hold on it. Benji, you see down in it, you see a whir of gears, and there is a piece of you that kind of an impetus within you that kind of lights up to actually attack this thing. Go ahead and roll me 1d4.
Okay.
As you even take the blade and kind of you see these whirring gears.
I've got a 1.
Okay, there's a shoot of there's you know when you use an angle grinder on a piece of steel and there's like that, you know, that big rooster tail of sparks, you know, shoot sparks out. There is this huge this huge wave of sparks that shoots up and out from within the arm as there's a grinding sound. It's not quite as effectual as you'd like it to be, but you think you have damaged this thing nonetheless. So,
did I get the spike?
Huh?
Did I get the spike?
It's still attached.
Damn it.
Still attached. Again, this thing is still just hanging through these bookshelves. This is a bizarre looking quote-unquote battle.
It really is.
Benedict, what are you going to do?
He's gonna mention, Benji, I think we should let it go. I'm terrified.
All right, let's let it go.
And I think he's gonna try and like.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try and like push it
Hank's,
away instead of holding on to it. He's gonna be like, "Oh no!" and like try and push it.
Hank's got
away.
bloodlust and is like, "No, we have to kill it."
He's full barbarian mode.
he's
raging.
Yeah, he's entered his rage. All right. So you're going to attempt to like let go of it, and then also to like get back or to like push it away. All right.
Yeah, I want a distance.
Okay. The second you release tension, this thing wrenches its arm back, and it immediately. So, like I said, these are all like rows of bookshelves. It pulls its arm back, and then leaps like some type of like some type of weird spider onto the bookshelf on the other side and begins to clamber directly up the vertical surface.
Oh,
just clank, 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 clank,
God.
clank, clank, clank,
Run! Run backwards. Yes, that's what we agreed. Run backwards.
I think it's trying to get away from us.
Yeah, that's what I took away from that.
I don't think it's gonna go. I think we're in trouble. But can we get ready? Can we like poise ourselves to defend ourselves?
Do we hear the clanking like coming closer, or does it seem like it's getting farther away?
It seems like it is getting further away, and maybe as you're looking up through the stacks, maybe there's a brief moment where you see it peak the top of that shelf and jump down the other side. As it, you know, leaps, again, it's on strings, but so it like kind of leaps in this like gravity-defying manner across and out of your line of sight, and it seems to be gone, and you guys are left here huffing, just like I imagine that Benedict,
God.
that both Benedict and Benji are now have like this strange smelling hydraulic fluid on them. There's a smell of burning metal. Kind of lingering in the air, and it's quiet for a moment as Hank is standing there with his club in both hands, breathing hard as he comes out of his barbarian rage. And you're left with only the sounds of soft snoring.
All right. Lesson learned. Don't fuck with the mannequins.
Yeah, don't fuck with the mannequins. Stay out of their way.
Anyway.
Do y'all hear that snoring?
Yeah.
I imagine, like, y'all hear that snoring as he's still got his club up.
God,
There might be
that's
someone
something.
sleeping.
There's something we could kill them. It'd be easy to kill them when they're sleeping.
They'll be asleep, vulnerable.
His blood's still hot.
Calm down, Hank. Simmer down, boy.
I'm gonna try to make contact. Hello.
it'd have to be louder than that.
No matter how loud you call from where you are, nothing happens.
And it's like several shelves back where
You
this
think
mannequin.
you could navigate to it. You would have to go to the end, go around. You know.
Shall we, boys?
Yeah, someone might be lost in here just like us.
They're asleep.
And they're
Easy
asleep.
prey.
I could bash him over the head
Benedict
with
is
this
on
club
edge.
real easy.
Just end them.
That's a lot of meat. We could survive here for a long time.
That's a lot of head cheese right there.
That's a lot of head cheese. You guys make your way around, and I imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, I imagine that being the tactical one of the crew, that maybe Hank might lead the way.
Nah.
No? Okay.
I'm just kidding. Sure.
No, Benedict's at the rear,
Yeah.
Sure.
looking out for the fucking spider
Hanks.
thing.
Yeah, the other two of you are just looking up more than you're anything.
Hanks.
Hank, you ease your head around, club in hand, and you're kind of like slicing the pie. You don't have a weapon, you don't have a firearm, but you're still kind of slicing the pie around this corner, and you see there's this big pile of books in kind of this opening, and perched atop it, not perched, but laying out atop it, kind of haphazardly but kind of comfortably looking, is a man. And he is dozing, and with this kind of not loud but not quiet snore.
Hank holds his hand up and then motions for everyone to come there to do like a 3-head peek around the corner type situation.
Like a Scooby-Doo kind of
Yeah.
peek.
Do I recognize him?
You do not. You do not. You see that there is. He looks to be. He definitely has the feel of like a like a Depression era hobo, patched.
Does he look armed?
Might be one of my
does not appear
sons.
to be obviously arms. Yeah, it might be. Hank perks up for a moment. Oh no, it's not. It's not him. But he's got patched clothes. Maybe even has, maybe there's one of those. What do you call it? A very almost cliche style of top hat that has the top that's kind of has fallen out of it.
Like a can opener.
Yeah, like a can opener. It's sticking up.
Like a can that's been opened.
It's very cliche. Yeah. Everything about it is very cliche, and he is laying there, kind of just laid out and kind of mumbling to himself as he sleeps.
Well, if no one objects, Hank just kind of tries to walk up to him and poke him with a stick.
I think that's wise.
Okay, you poke him with your with your whacking stick.
With the blunt end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You poke him, and he kind of an eye kind of partially opens. He just pushes your club away and rolls over.
He says, "Hey, fella, I don't think this is a great spot to take a nap."
Okay, he kind of, his eyes kind of open. He kind of raises his head, kind of groggily, and looks at you. And he looks around. He's just like, yeah, that's just okay. Don't worry about it. And he just again lays back down. He seems very intent on doing his absolute best to ignore you.
I search him.
Okay. Are you going to try to do this without him noticing?
No, I'm just gonna look.
Does it matter?
You start to rifle through his pockets. And again, he seems like to be kind of halfway asleep, but we're not going to make you make a roll. And even if he does notice, he doesn't seem to really give a shit. It's that kind of I'm too destitute to have anything that you could possibly want. So, whatever. You begin to rifle through his pockets, and one of the first things that you pull out is what appears to be a small booklet. Probably about, I don't know, not big, 3 inches by 3 inches wide by 5 inches tall. Just this little booklet, and you can't tell what the book is. It doesn't really matter, because the thing that catches your eye is it has a very kind of cartoonish style bite taken out of it, as if
The entire book.
Yes, and it's probably about an inch thick, as if someone had taken like an apple type bite out of this book.
Hank opens the book.
The book is written in a foreign language that you could probably identify as Tartessian at this juncture. And there's and you hear kind of a chuckle from the man. You know, like as you're kind of regarding this book and looking at him. And then there's something else in his pocket that maybe you catch just the tiniest glimpse of it. Something red. Something bright red.
Okay.
Would you like to fish back in there a second time?
Yeah.
Benedict's ready to smash something.
You guys are, the other two of you are standing there, clubs up, ready to bring them down on this man's skull.
Yeah, I'll try to fish out this red item.
You pull out a small red ball. It's rubbery.
It's a clown nose.
Looks like it's not a clown nose. You take the clown nose and put it on the man. It's a ball. It's like a.
Is it like a dog ball? Does it have a squeaker?
I imagine that maybe even Hank gives it a little squeeze. And for the second time today, you were reminded Abraham, the dog.
Okay.
And you as you squeak it, you hear the man say, "Go, no, it's a good boy, good boy." And he rolls back over away from you.
Benji kind of hunkers down over him and like slaps him in the face, try to wake him up, and like focus his head on the symbol on my forehead. Does he open his eyes at all? Does he see it?
He seems almost intoxicated, in the way that he's kind of struggling to be totally coherent. He does see you, and he reaches up, kind of, and fumbles with and rakes a thumb across the symbol. Not today, not today. That was a failed.
Benji.
Hank was looking around for maybe his booze bottle to he was gonna wave it up if you want this, you need to pay attention to us. But I guess he doesn't find it.
And he gives.
Benedict is gonna shout at him. He's gonna say, "Lundin, hey, Lundin, wake up!"
No reaction specifically to that name, but he does reach up to Benji's face and kind of give him a gentle kind of slap, not like a slap, but just like a pat on the cheek. And he says, "Let's go down the lake, have a swim, and see the spires. See the spires with me." And his kind of head kind of leans back down, and he kind of nods back off.
Benji takes out his club and brutally caves in his head for 5 experience points. I'm gonna write that down on my sheet.
For 5 experience points.
Can Hank squeeze the ball loudly and say, here boy," to try to see if a dog's nearby?
As you do, you hear the unmistakable whine of a dog. It seems to be a little ways away, and coming around the corner, you see a skinny, mangy-looking Ham.
Benji's gonna run over to him.
You run over to him, and
slow-mo
he tucks his tail and recoils with its back to his shelf and bares his teeth.
Oh
God.
Benji stops. He's like,
"It's okay, boy. It's me. You remember me?"
This way, hold out his hand.
There is, the dog appears to be quite scared. And he takes the longest possible route around you to the sleeping man, who he kind of sniffs at him and kind of lays protectively on top of him.
Weird. What?
There was not an ounce of recognition. Not an ounce.
Is Ham, does he look older, or does he just look scrawnier?
He just looks scrawnier. Not older.
Maybe this is like a alternate dimension Ham.
That was a first aid roll by
Hank rolled a first aid to see if there's anything particularly wrong with Ham besides being malnourished.
Nothing particularly. The man, he reaches up again, kind of drunkenly, and he pats Ham's head. He says, "It's okay. It's okay. Yes. I'll be all right." And then he does something that kind of takes you all aback. He reaches down to the pile of books that he is nestled upon. And in a way that is not unlike a snake consuming something too large, begins to consume what has to be a fucking encyclopedia whole.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
What?
He unhinges
everyone
his
go ahead
jaw
and
and
roll
just
me that
shoves
quick sanity check, just for fun.
Oh,
Damn.
you stinker.
Benedict succeeds, 3 under 52.
Failure for Benji.
Failure for Hank.
All right, Benji and Hank, please take 1 sanity damage due to the unnatural. But again, don't apply it. Go ahead and just put it over in another category by itself. Just put sanity damage. I've taken heart, or whatever you need to remember it. Just put it on a different part of your sheet. Just somewhere you'll find it later. Don't worry about it. And Hank, you still have the ball.
Okay.
Hank, Ham seems to be placated by this and kind of sees the ball at your hand and tail tucked, its rear end down, comes and and kind of sits in front of you, nervously looking, as you hold this ball.
Hank tries to hand the ball,
very
let him grab it.
Very gently takes it from your hand and kind of retreats a bit from you. And seems to just be kind of watching all of you.
Seems Ham's been through about as much as we've been through since last time we met.
I ain't entirely convinced that it's the same Ham.
You see that it still has that same familiar collar. The kind of handmade with the little tag on it that says Abraham.
At the very least, when we find Lundeen, we need to give him a good talking to about how to...
how he's been taking care of this dog.
Yeah.
Well, where from here, guys?
Kind of heartbreaking to...
Actually, everyone roll me an alertness check.
Okay. Oh, success for Benji, 28 under 32.
He's the only one that succeeded.
Failure for the other 2.
Yeah.
Benji, for whatever reason, you were all very disturbed by the manner in which this man just devoured this book. He absentmindedly kind of turns over to this massive, probably 50-foot tall pile of books, and he just pulls one of these books out of this wall and begins to, again, seemingly gorge himself upon it. And as he...
I can't watch this again.
As he does, you notice that the wall begins to tilt. And you think it's going to fall.
Oh.
On us?
Look out!
And he tries to push everybody out of the way.
You do so, and even Hank or Ham with tail still tucked follows you as this insane amount of books falls directly on top of the man, who's just the last visage you see of him is he's smiling, eyes mostly closed, kind of this like this intoxicated smile on his face as he just munches, as he is covered entirely. He has to be dead.
Did he survive?
What the hell? What would have happened if I hadn't made that alertness check?
What would have
Is that
happened?
another of these death traps?
Who knows?
Does this remind anyone of like some kind of like demon? Like, is this guy like some kind of, I don't know, something? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
There's like dust settling, and there's no movement, no sound, and just Ham just kind of whines. And Ham approaches the pile and begins to sniff and dig, but seemingly kind of gives up, or is kind of just looking at you guys. And as Ham reaches his, he's digging and, like books are being pushed away. As it digs, one particular book seems to tumble onto Benedict's left foot. And
Right, he'll pick it up.
you look down, and there is a kind of a silhouette of a dark silhouette of a man reclining on a tower of books, and the title is "The Dreaming Man's Library."
Definitely have to read this. He shows it to the others. This looks a bit strange. Given what we've just seen, we should probably read this.
I've never heard of it. Who's it by?
Oh, it's by Harcourt Brace, 1941.
Harcourt. We encountered that name before. I don't know.
We haven't. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Can we just like skim through it real quick?
Can we
It
read
doesn't
it?
take, it's not a huge book. It seems to detail the travelings and adventures of a hobo who travels the rails, has a photographic memory, and consumes books for nourishment. And that at night, as he sleeps, he lives out the stories that he consumes in his dreams.
We barely knew ye.
What happens at the end of the book?
He just continues to ride the rails for all of eternity.
Poorly written.
So no destruction by his own gluttony or anything
Nothing
poetic like
specific,
that.
no.
Okay.
You hear, as you guys are kind of standing around and kind of puzzling this, like, what the fuck is going on? There is a barking sound.
Yeah, from which direction? Is it Ham?
It is Ham. Spoilers, it's Ham. You
Quiet,
turn
Benedict.
and
We're doing things.
we're busy.
I have barked in the past.
That's right, you did actually. Or was that I can't remember or the maid that was you. You hear Ham barking. And you see that he is at the end of the bookshelves, and he's looking back at you, and then looks forward and barks. He then, picks his ball back up and gives the tiniest little of wag.
I say we follow him.
Okay, we gotta follow him. Yeah.
Okay, you guys begin to you follow Ham, and you come to a there is a bit where Ham kind of gets down and scratches and takes you kind of to this dead end of books, like of a that's like books on all sides, and Ham begins to scratch at the shelves at the books that are stacked therein. Begins to scratch at them.
Okay.
Right. Let's take a couple of them and see what he's scratching at.
Benji and Benedict, you guys begin to pull them out. I imagine at first you look at them, but then you stop because you hear something. Voices on the other side. They're talking. As you guys pull the last book, you see of all things, a clearing? Like a bench, maybe some type of weird, again, like one of these weird barricades that's been built in the middle. But just going out of sight are two men carrying between them a large wooden crate. They are both, one of them is holding a shotgun in his offhand that's not carrying the crate. They both seem to be wearing trench coats.
Mm-hmm.
And as they go in, they're moving away from you into the stacks. And as they go for the briefest moment, let's say, which one of you is it going to be? Let's do a roll. 50 and below for Benedict. It's Benedict. Benedict, you see, and the voices are too far away or too muffled or whatever. Benedict, as the two figures are rounding a corner away from you, one of them turns. As you see your own face 20 years previous.
Oh, with the green box.
The green box you recovered from the bookstore.
Oh, shit.
And that is probably a good place for us to stop today.
Worlds are colliding.
I wanted to get back into the night floors so bad. And now that we're back in the night floors, I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Nothing makes sense. I can't do anything.
Wait, so I remember us getting these trench coats and shotguns from a box in the bookstore. But
Yeah.
what are you talking about? The green box, John?
Yeah.
The box with the books.
Yeah, that was the box with the,
the guns.
the books and the ammo.
The guns.
But
and
you
the,
never.
and the
but
gas mask.
But Jean never specifically put on this gear, right? And was carrying around a box.
Yeah,
I think I specifically remember definitely Benji saying, "Oh, I'm putting on this trench coat."
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And y'all
No,
were
we did.
carrying a box around?
It's the same.
Okay.
The box with the
I
guns.
think it's the same. We were bringing the box back.
Oh, to
Yeah.
me. Because
I think it's
I
us.
got split up from y'all at that
Yeah.
specific
right.
situation.
Exactly. I think we just saw ourselves in the library.
Yeah. All right.
This does not bode well.
It's if it bodes anything, it's not well. That's for damn sure. I think we can all agree on that.
We've
All right.
narrowly avoided getting impaled,
Narrowly.
and we definitely did not contribute to that man's death.
that
his own
was
doing.
complete accident. No one could have seen that coming.
And it was a man.
It was a man. this
Dirty addict was drunk on books anyway. He deserved what he got.
time. Yeah. All right.
He had it coming.
Well, everyone listening, everyone watching, thank you. Thank you very much. It's a good one. Hey, come check us out. All of our socials and everything, our Reddit HQ, that's kind of our big place. It's all connected. It's all linked down in the description of wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening right now. If you want to hear the episodes a week early, please consider coming over. It's just $3 to come over to our Patreon and support us at patreon.com/greenboxgaming_, also linked below. We really appreciate it. It gives me the caffeine that I need in the morning to get this done. But guys, thank you so much.
Back
That
at you.
was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for dealing with this confusion as you guys go on this mind-bending adventure. I hope the madness is not generalized to your real life, but who can say?
Oh, it is.
Who-
It definitely affects other
can
parts
say?
of my life. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Those of you listening, those of you watching live, bear with us. We're gonna take a break and be back. Those listening, watching later, thank you for joining us again, and we will catch you next time. And remember, stay safe, stay sane. Bye.
Goodbye.